Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Life on Wheels. I'm your host, Sal Arcero, former ET1 in the U.S. Navy, and tonight we're going to talk about my opinion on the current political climate, and if time permits, we'll talk a little bit about unions and just generally how the politics is good, bad, ugly, and there's lots of ugly in politics, that's for sure. In the world for that matter, but I digress. Let's begin with, I think we've gotten here, to this point, bit by bit. It's been years in the making. Reminds me of a movie I saw where they're talking about, if a fish goes in boiling water, he'd jump out because he knows it's dangerous. But if he's in the bowl and you heat it little by little by little, he'll actually die in the bowl. So that's what I feel like. Politics has gotten worse little by little, and I think we're near a breaking point. Plus you got instant news. As soon as something happens, boom, it's everywhere. You got social media. Everyone and their mother has a camera, and there's videos constantly popping up here, there. I think the thing that's hurt the country the most is that we can't compromise no more. That each party has gone to their extreme fringes. It's just being a moderate is no longer possible. Each party's gone to their extreme. Democrats to the left, Republicans way right. No one wants to compromise. No one wants to talk to each other, for that matter. And that's bad for everyone. How are you supposed to get anything done if you can't come together and agree, find common ground, a give and take? That's how it's always been done. But little by little, it's just eroded over the time. It's just horrible that we actually are starting to despise and hate each other. It takes a really big tragedy to even have us somewhat come together. But even then, each side, draws their lines in the sand. It's really, really horrible. We're all Americans, whether, you believe in abortion, you believe in a life. We're all Americans. We're all human. Why are we constantly hearing, you're evil, you're going to kill us all, or hear phrases like you're stupid or racist or evil or some other insulting jargon? And most Americans don't even know where they fall. If they are in a Democratic area, like let's say San Francisco or New York, they just assume that they must be Democrat since that's a Democratic area. But a lot of people, I don't think, truly know where they stand on this political spectrum. I took this little quick quiz yesterday. It was 11 questions. It's by the Pew Research Center. If you just Google a political spectrum test or which party do I belong to, you should find it. It was right on the top, the top three, I think. And then those 11 questions supposedly are going to tell you where you fall on the spectrum. And I thought I was like near the middle, moderate Republican or, somewhere almost independent. But according to that, I'm a conservative Republican. I was on a lot further right than I actually thought I was. So if you have time, you should really look into that. It's 11 questions. It took maybe 5 minutes. And it's the Pew Research Center. I said just Google it and you'll know. But I really do think everyone should take it. The idea about where you actually fall on the ever-dividing political spectrum. But And that brings us right to where we are today with the whole Me Too and all the other sexual harassment charges and claims. Oh, I never turned the light on. And now I'm blind. I don't know if that makes it better or not, but I really can't see nothing now. But anyway, sexual harassment, Me Too, all other kinds of, against women charges. And I'm sure me talking about this, if anyone actually is watching this, will be probably irate because this is a very emotional topic. But I really feel the whole notion of innocent until proven guilty no longer exists in this country. With the era of, instant news and social media and how we the people have become the judge, jury, and executioner for these things. It's just really sad. As soon as an accusation is thrown out there, social media and the press pounce on it, the world of public opinion passes the judgment, and then lives truly get destroyed. Now, yes, there are real victims, and your heart goes out to them, and you want to do everything you can to help them and punish those who have wronged them. And I have no way of knowing if this is true. I'm just going by what I believe and what I feel on the subject. And those unforgivable acts shouldn't take place. But for every real claim, there's probably at least 10 fake ones. And it's already been proven with some of these high-profile charges that some women are just being paid to say stuff or being pushed to say stuff. You take Donald Trump, for instance. He's had how many women before the election come out and say he did this, that, or the other. The American people still voted him into office. They took that into account, but they felt that compared with Hillary, that they could live with that if he does the things that he's promised. But yet, again, you see after the election that he wasn't supposed to win, that the media and the Democrats have gone crazy, and women were actually being paid, put up in a nice fancy New York hotel and, paid all their expenses and probably some nice money for doing it. But all the same women with all the same accusations that were already said before the election. And they come out on the news to recycle it because they want, it's bombarding them every 5 seconds. You gotta say something bad, say something bad, say something bad. And they're getting to the point now that they're running out of stuff to say. So they gotta go and pull stuff out of a hat from way back when and try to make it seem like it's a fresh new story when it's just recycled garbage. It's just, and you got Hollywood, the biggest hypocrites of all, because they know all the stuff's going on, but nobody says nothing because it's more important to get the next role or to do this or to do that. You look at Weinstein. He's a monster. He really is a despicable human. But how many major Democrats were getting tons of money from him and just turned their heads the other way? How many big shots in Hollywood just let it slide because, he made money? So it's just, it's from the people that make movies like 50 Shades of Grey. You're really going to be that hypocritical about the whole thing? It's just, I'd rather hear from actual true victims than a bunch of Hollywood celebrity douches running their mouth when they think they're so much better than everyone else. They're always taking a moral high ground. It's like, do you see the garbage that you do? They talk about the environment. Oh, the environment's getting destroyed as they fly their big jet to go to a telethon or some kind of charity thing to raise money. So they're just all a bunch of hypocrites, and I can't stand listening to any of them when they talk about politics from their pulpit. But Look what happened to Bill O'Reilly. I've watched Bill O'Reilly for years, read, some of his books. Thought he was one of the few good journalists out there that all, I don't know. As soon as accusations were made, boom, you're guilty. So, goodbye job, goodbye reputation. We don't know if he did anything. He hasn't been to court. There hasn't been, charges filed or anything. But yet, the public, i.e., Hollywood and Democrats and other celebrities, passed judgment and said he's guilty. So, boom, he's now a pariah. But I'd like to say he's innocent until it's proven that he's guilty. I just can't see it. And that's just, me using my mind and making a decision or a judgment call. I just feel that he's not guilty. That's why I pay to be a Bill O'Reilly premium member, because all news should have no spin. There shouldn't be spin on news. I look to media for facts, the truth, unbiased, because I'm a free-thinking American. I want to make my own decisions, yet that doesn't happen today. Instead, we get bombarded with extremely biased, left-leaning propaganda that's not free press. They're like, oh, the president's against the free press, dictatorships and communism and all. They all treat their press and kill their press. We have free press, and that's what makes our democracy. It's not free press because they're not reporting facts or truth. They're just propaganda machines for the left. It gets tiring saying it, but it's true. I just don't understand how people still buy into what they're spewing. But I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's the Salem witch trials with everything again and again and again. I've never seen an opposition party try so hard on so many different fronts to take down a president. He was a duly elected president by the people of the United States of America. But yet they don't care. It just, to me, that shows how much these socialist Democrats really truly hate democracy and they hate our country. They don't trust or respect or like the American people. They're better, smarter. Us just pawns need to do what they say. And it's a really bad place that we're in. And then on top of that, you get the constant war on men. Yes, there are some bad guys. Just like in every group of people, there are bad apples. It doesn't mean and that's what the Democrats are always preaching, that, you can't be biased like that. You can't lump a whole group, a whole sex. All men are now sexual harassers and rapists and what have you. No. There's a small portion that are, and it gets blown up like it's every man. A man's not allowed to have an opinion because it's mansplaining or whatever other BS that the left's coming out with nowadays. And it's again, but men are just scared now. It baffles my mind to see what's going on. Most men won't even open their mouths to talk about the subject. That's how scared they are about everything that's going on. They're afraid they'll be next. And then, boom, your life's over. But, I'm sure most of you have heard what happened with Tim Allen. But in case here's a quick recap. Allen had a show. His original show, Home Improvement, was where he was a father with 3 boys. His new show, he is the father of 3 girls. And he's a right-leaning, conservative, Republican, outdoor man. Almost the same thing, except he don't make that sound. And he was on a late-night show where he went on and he was saying how like if you don't agree with Hollywood and you know what they, if you don't follow what they believe and toe the line, that they treat you horribly, and it's almost like Nazi Germany, you know, something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing now. This ain't exactly what he said, but you know, something basically that if you don't agree with the leftist, socialist leaning Hollywood, which is 99% of Hollywood, I don't think it's really that high, but I think most people that are conservative keep hush hush about it because you really are treated like a pariah. So Allen got on there, spoke the truth. The Democrats hate the truth more than anything else. They hate facts. They hate the truth. So I think it's ABC he was on. They canceled a highly rated, popular show. One of the few actual conservative type shows where they, you know, champion good values, family, church. It's not just a left-leaning hippie, whatever, commune. So, you know, making that small little Nazi-ish remark, they canceled the show. That's how bad. Can you imagine the sheep went nuts? So, it's just really bad that they hate the truth so much. So, as punishment, socialists killed the show. So, and then you look at what's been the last few days with how the president made a statement that he was in France, saw their military parade to honor their country and their military, and he came and made remarks about how we should have a parade honoring our military. Every single Democrat and journalist, or so-called journalists, media people, have gone nuts. They truly lost their minds, insulting him from every direction. You know, making fun of bone spurs, why he didn't, you know, go to get in the army, comparing him to Kim Jong-un, that he's trying to be like him, or like Russia or China with their parades. It's just ridiculous that he's getting attacked so hard for wanting to show appreciation to the military. They should all be championing that. Now, I think a parade might be a little over the top, a little something, especially with how we don't really have money for anything. We shouldn't be throwing it away, but to attack them for wanting to celebrate the military is just mind-boggling, and it just another little notch of why I despise Democrats more and more. And that's what's happening in the country. Each side is hating each other more and more, that I don't think we're ever going to be able to come together again. It's really, really, really bad. And it's like day and night and day. Just even in families. I know a lot of my relatives, I have two aunts and two uncles, and most of them are Democrats. And if they hear me say anything conservative or Republican, they start losing their minds. So it has the potential to just tear families apart too if you let it. But it's just ugly. I can't even watch or read anything about it anymore because it really physically makes me sick. And it's really hard to just get me that pissed off where I just want to walk away. But that's horrible. So, well, nearing the end, I wanted to talk about unions a little bit. So I was in the UFCW, United Food and Commercial Workers Union, for 8 years. But next time I will. Hopefully I get some subscribers, or I'm just a paralyzed vet talking to himself. But on behalf of all of us here at SAA, Sal Arcero Association, thanks for watching. God bless you in the United States of America. Good night.